Whether it's rags or riches, up or down, I'll be on the mission, yeah. Took some time, I was blind, now I see his vision, yeah. Lonely nights, I remember them lonely nights.
Welcome back to AG the Champion. I can't wait to start the race in Bahrain and see where the car is compared to the others in a different circuit. Somehow I managed to qualify P4 while George Russell was all the way in 16th. Maybe I need to turn the AI up a little bit. I'll head on to the race and hopefully everything runs smoothly.
For another enthralling race here in the Kingdom of Bahrain. A Ferrari stronghold in years gone by, but will they be able to add to their record today? Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let me ask you about Renault. We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
It doesn't look promising for them so far. And if the new regs have hit them as hard as we think, well, I suspect they may need a few late nights at the factory to get back on track.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, the captain, Carlos Sainz, and Perez, Gasly, Norris, Leclerc, and Esteban Ocon, Stroll, Albon, Daniel Kvyat, and Grosjean, Vettel, Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Daniel Ricciardo. Delatraz, De Vries, Latifi, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
I'll stick to the above strategy and pitch much earlier with a soft compound, unlike I did in Season 1 where I got a puncture and crashed out of the race. I will do a practice start in the formation lap, just to better my reaction time. 2 Mercedes and a Red Bull in front of me and obviously much faster cars behind me. I may actually be overtaken before the first corner, but I'll definitely try to dive down the inside and basically hope to hold the position until the end of the race. Start of the Grand Prix is here, lights out, away we go. A pretty good start by me, but the Renault behind me has gotten an even better start, but he goes the wrong way and gets blocked. The cars ahead maintain their racing line as I dive down the inside. That was a reckless decision, a bit of contact, slow burst up and down. Sainz makes a move on the car, managed to stick in this position. Sainz is now being overtaken. Hamilton and Bottas is starting to disappear. I will not be getting DRS in the next 3 laps because there's already a second between me and the next car. Just a bit of oversteer. I used the tires a bit too much during qualifying, so they're almost half worn. I've missed the apex, compromised the next corner. The gap is already 2 seconds. I do not like this corner, so I'm going to brake early so I don't lock up. There goes Sainz! He completely lost it around the corner. I think I caught him off guard by braking so early. Max right there behind me, trying to gain as much slipstream as possible. He's rapidly catching up, but he's a bit too far to make the move around this corner. I go quite wide again. Just had to choose a high speed low down for setup so that I would be able to defend a little bit more on the straight, but I'm really struggling through the high speed corners. Verstappen behind me by 4th chance, he will have DRS and most likely will overtake. I tried to block the inside line, but he is way too quick. Here he comes, going ahead of me. I will try and outbrake him. Slows down quite early. There he goes. Just sends it down the inside and does no break. I had to take avoiding action, but as he locked up and went straight, he ended up blocking Perez, who had gotten around me. This is the first time I've seen the AI make such a mistake, or rather the second time, because Sainz did the exact same thing. Here we go, it's end of lap 3, I'm coming into the pit. I think I'll be the only one to go this early, but I'm starting to struggle with the tires. 3.1 seconds, that's not too bad. Off we go, I'm in P22.
On the exit, we'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
I need to warm up these tires and push as hard as I can. Headed towards lap 7, my times are starting to become more competitive. The rest of the cars are starting to enter the pit lane.
George is going in for his stop.
I'm far ahead of Ocon, so that's a good sign.
Safety car. No overtaking. Reduce your pace. Keep your delta number positive as we form up.
Bottas won last season and now is currently out of the points, so that's definitely not going to help him in the fight for the championship.
Drop your speed. Our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
The rest of the cars will go in, as the safety car is currently out, so that's not going to help me in my stint. They will lose much less time than I did. Bottas is parked there, not too far from the pit entry. I went way faster than I was allowed to, and I had to come to a complete standstill to be able to get into the delta. It did pay off because I came ahead of Leclerc, but that would have been a slam dunk penalty.
The car behind has boxed for the mediums. Car behind on the medium tyre.
Perez actually got the jump on me because of the free pit stop, but I'll try and get him in the first corner. I'll switch my fuel mode to lean so I can use reach mix as long as possible after the restart.
Okay, let's get ready to go racing again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember, there is no overtaking until the green flags. Safety car in this lap.
I'm trying to stick as close to Perez as possible without actually overtaking him. There we go in the restart. He tries to make the move on Hamilton. I brake late, very late. Lock up, but I've done the move. He touched just a little bit, but there will be no damage. Hamilton is now starting to catch up as my teammate heads into the pit again. He may have had some damage, perhaps his collision with another driver, but that means he won't be in the points in this race. I'm just moving all over the place to try and break the toe. covered the inside line so he won't be overtaking me.
For a new strategy option.
He's clearly following me, so I'm trying to break the toe and give him quite a little bit of dirty air by weaving around. But honestly, I don't think this tactic is useful in the game. Headed towards the second last lap of the race, Hamilton is behind me by 0.4. He will get DRS and actually may overtake me. I managed to put my car where he wanted to go, so I've blocked him. Mercedes is way more powerful, it's really hard to hold him back. I definitely would not want him to overtake me on the last lap, although considering the fact that he's very close, that may be a possibility. And once he gets past me, I will not be able to catch up. A train of cars is starting to form behind me. The Mercedes is as close as ever. Hamilton is trying to make his move as soon as possible. Here he goes round the outside, very bold move, but he closed the door and he's now under attack by the Ferrari of Leclerc. I'm going to have to push extremely hard if I want to win this race. Leclerc is now starting to catch up, he's within 6 tenths. Here we go for the last lap of the race.
This is your final lap of the race.
Leclerc is a bit too far to make any move. He's behind by 5 tenths, he needs to be at least 3 tenths behind me to be able to overtake me on this corner.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
There's plenty of fuel left, I'm just sticking to reach mates until the end. I managed to set a personal best on one set of tires. Here comes Leclerc round the outside under braking. He is the third driver to do that on the exact same corner. Now he's going to be overtaken by Hamilton. Had he waited, he may actually have been second. He's right there behind me, ready to pounce if I make any mistake. Round the last corner of the race. This was a very interesting Bahrain Grand Prix, but I'm going to take this one. Last time in Bahrain I retired, this time I come home with a win.
Fantastic. You've won the Grand Prix.
That's it for another spectacular Grand Prix here in Bahrain and a real champion's drive to take the win. And Talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium. Look at how the driver's standings have changed. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the captain. They demonstrated a very delicate touch in close proximity to other cars, as well as showing a lot of maturity and patience in difficult situations.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Ferrari have improved their position. A strong weekend from them as they fight their way towards the top. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Whether it's rise or riches, up or down, I'll be on the mission, yeah. Took some time, I was blind, now I see his vision.